Good afternoon from Los Angeles. It's March 13th. I'm Alyssa Corum here with Justin Nielsen, and we have a look at the stock market today. On today's show, we are breaking down the broad market action, some important moves today.
Yeah, this whole week.
yeah, this whole week, pretty bullish action. And we're also diving into the chart action that we're seeing for StoneCo. But first, let's take a look at those major indexes. So we did finish the day up across the board. The Nasdaq up about 0.9%, the S&P up 0.8%, and the Dow up 0.6%. So, you know, those resistance levels that we've been looking and waiting to clear, some additional resistance as of late, we're now above those levels for the Nasdaq and the S&P.
Yeah, so it's kind of, we're still at an inflection point. So, you know, we're not out of the woods. But if you look at the Nasdaq composite, what's interesting about the Nasdaq is you almost have this cup with handle formation that we formed. Now, normally for indexes, we aren't looking for cup with handle formations. You know, we really want to use the follow through day, and we had that follow through day on January 4th. That's what we want to use to get in. But when you do see a cup with handle formation, it's kind of giving you a little bit of extra conviction. So that's a good thing that we're seing on the Nasdaq.
And you know what that means? That also means a lot of stocks are probably forming cup with handles.
Right, exactly. You know, and so you know, what really this week has been about is a lot of reversals off of the pullback, but what we hope to see is more breakout action. And so that's the thing we're going to be looking for. In fact, that's why on the show on Monday, Ed and I were talking about Arista Networks, that's ANET, and it broke out today. Volume was not as heavy as I'd like to see it on a breakout, but it was still a very solid breakout above resistance levels out of a cup with handle that we pointed out on Monday.
All right, yeah, great. This is why you should be tuning in daily, guys. And let's also flip over to the S&P 500 because this is a really great example of what clearing resistance looks like. The S&P resistance at that 2,800 level, now above that today. But as you said, we're not out of the woods yet, but this is very positive.
Yeah, and really the S&P 500 keeps on hitting, like it hit 2813 in February, it hit 2816 on like March 4th, and it kept on getting turned away. So it kind of hit that same level today, and then Trump comes out and says, okay, Boeing, you know, we're gonna ground your planes. The market kind of pulled back from that, and so it was right at that level again, you know, 2815, right around there. And so that resistance has still been in play for the S&P 500, so we're gonna see if we can really break above that area in the next few days. Or maybe it's a week or so.
Well, just when we thought last week that you know, we pulled back quite a bit, this is a pretty quick rebound.
It is, but I mean, when you put it into context, it was really only like a 4% pullback. You know, when we had been up, you know, 10 weeks in a row on the Nasdaq, so it wasn't that bad of a pullback. It felt bad on some individual stocks, and that's what typically happens. You know, when you're seeing your profits go, that feels uncomfortable.
All right, well, a strong rebound broadly, and we also want to take a look at the payments industry in focus today. PayPal announcing late yesterday, or you know, not too long ago, an investment in Mercado Libre, $750 million. So payment stocks in focus. You know, we had been focusing a lot on the software group, but maybe another group in the spotlight now?
I mean, definitely tech is where it's been at, you know, and that's why the Nasdaq has been the leading index. We've seen a lot of software. On Monday, you know, as hard as software got hit the previous Monday, it really came back strong this last Monday. But payments is another area to be looking at. You did have that PayPal Mercado Libre deal. Mercado Libre, of course, is known as the eBay of Argentina, of South America. And you have a lot of interesting things going on in South America. In Brazil in particular, you know, you have a new president and he's kind of very market focused. So a lot of things happening in Brazil that are potentially positive market related. And one of the companies that's also involved in payments is StoneCo. And that's the symbol is STNE. And what's kind of interesting about this one is it's IPO. And we love IPOs in terms of the potential that they have, but we're always cautious. We're not buying an IPO on the IPO date when it comes out. That's not something we do.
Because look at, you know, this sell-off in the stock that we saw in that, you know, initial few months there, but this was as the market was selling off.
I mean, the timing was not great, you know. So, but you know, we always want to see some trading history before we buy an IPO, and so this is not one that we would have played because we just didn't have that trading history yet. And a lot of people are kind of afraid of IPOs because, oh, what about the history in terms of the fundamentals and sales and earnings? But a lot of IPOs do come on with that history, and StoneCo is one of those.
That's right. You know, there are a lot of IPOs out there that are not yet profitable. This is not one of those. It's
very profitable,
very profitable, strong earnings and sales growth too as well.
Yeah, so we got triple-digit earnings growth, and now that triple-digit earnings growth, yes, it is small numbers.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're going from a penny, you know, and it's a little bit easier to get the triple-digit gains off of that. But it's still something that looks, you know, very promising. Now, it did break out of a cup with a cup shape, you know, first at 32.60. That's on that left-hand side, and then it kind of, you know, broke out of there and then pulled right back as we got this pullback.
Yeah, sort of this handle action that we're seeing with
and that's okay. You know, if you bought it, you know, you probably would have had to sell it because it probably triggered that 8% rule for you, and we always sell at that 8% rule. But now it may be giving you a new opportunity. So this is one to keep on your radar, especially since, again, IPOs can be very, very profitable.
That's right. We want to be buying stocks that are early in their phases of growth. That increases your odds of success.
And especially when you see that phenomenal fundamental story there. Plus, again, there's some things going on in that region. So that's exciting as well.
Yeah, that is. You want to take a look at all the factors, the fundamentals, the company's story, and the chart action. Very key, and we do see StoneCo setting up. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining today, and be sure you're heading to investors.com for all the latest stock news and analysis. And make sure you're following us across social media, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.